Only 31% of businesses have fully automated at least one function. This means a huge demand for automation and creating a training environment exists. Typically, automation training and hands-on programming take time and a lot of resources, but this is no longer the case. Creating an effective automation training environment tailored to your industry can never be easier. The new Machine Simulator or EasyPLC software suite now has a Modbus TCP Server driver. This means that we can now connect many automation devices to our automated network. Human Machine Interface HMI and Programmable Logic Controllers PLCs are just the start of your automation training setup. The Machine Simulator scenes have many pre-built machines, or you can design your own for your industry. This comprehensive automation training resource ensures you are prepared to expand your professional life in automation. We will be used the Machine Simulator built-in Easy Transfer line with the Modbus TCP Server driver. Control for this machine will come from the Productivity PLC Programming Software Suite. The PLC simulator will communicate Modbus TCP client to the server. This will set the stage for adding HMI and SCADA to our ultimate automation training setup later. Let's get started. Detailed information contained in this video can be found at accautomation.ca. A link has been put in the description below. If you have not watched the other videos yet, there'll be links in the description below that will start you at video 1. There'll be links to the rest of the videos in the series as well. Machine Simulator Modbus Server Automation Training Machine. We will use the pre-built scene in the Machine Simulator or MS. Start the Machine Simulator and select Machines icon on the top menu. You can also select the Open Machine Start Simulation on the main page. All of the pre-built machines will now be displayed. These have been programmed so you can immediately start learning with this package. We will be using the O1 Easy Transfer line. Selections will be displayed as you move your mouse over the machine icon. Select the exclamation point in the upper right corner. This will display the machine description of what we need to program. Select Close. The demo mode will show you the workings of the machine. It will demonstrate how the machine is to function. Select Start. The Machine Simulator will now load the Easy Transfer line. In the bottom left corner you will see that we have no PLC connection. Select I/O drivers on the top menu. Under the driver name you will see that EasyPLC is selected by default. Select EasyPLC to call up all the Machine Simulator drivers. Select Modbus Server driver. The Modbus Server driver uses TCP/IP protocol on Ethernet to communicate with the Modbus devices and software. Select the Configure button. We can now assign the Machine Simulator to the 4 different Modbus memory areas. In our case, the PLC coil outputs will be the MS digital inputs. The PLC digital inputs will be the MS digital outputs. Although our machine does not use any analog inputs, we can still set this up. Modbus PLC holding registers will be used for analog inputs, and the PLC analog input registers will be the MS analog outputs. Analog scaling and subtraction factors are used in the Machine Simulator to represent negative numbers since Modbus analog is strictly a 16-bit word. Select OK. Our PLC inputs and outputs are now displayed. We can now assign the inputs and outputs to our Machine Simulator I/O. This can be done by clicking and dragging the PLC input to the Machine Simulator input and the PLC output to the Machine Simulator output. However, you can select Automatic Assignment from the driver menu. This will automatically assign the inputs and outputs in the order they appear, saving you time. Select Automatic Assignment. Under the Exit menu, select Start Driver and Exit. Our Easy Transfer line is now ready for communication. This is shown by the green driver connected indication on the bottom left of the screen. Select View I/O to show the MS inputs and output statuses. Since this is a Modbus server setup, we can use multiple Modbus clients to connect to our Machine Simulator. IP address of Machine Simulator. The IP address of our MS Easy Transfer line will be the IP of the local computer running the software. If you are unsure, start the command prompt on your Windows computer. Type the command ipconfig/all and press enter. You will now see the IP address listed. We will need to know this for our Modbus client devices. PLC HMI Program Development. Now that the Machine Simulator runs with the Easy Transfer line with Modbus TCP Server, we can focus on the PLC and HMI. We will need to determine how each device in the network will talk to each other. The following diagram will explain the communication between the three devices. Our PLC simulator will communicate via the Modbus TCP client to the Easy Transfer line. It will read the inputs and write the outputs. The CMOR CM5 HMI will communicate to the Easy Transfer line and read the inputs via the Modbus TCP client. It will also read the information to the Productivity PLC simulator. Productivity PLC Simulator Communication. We will establish communication with the Easy Transfer line machine using the Modbus Read and Write instruction in our Productivity Suite Programming Software Simulator. This will be Modbus TCP Ethernet connection. Start a new project by selecting the icon on the main menu or selecting New Project under the main menu File. The Choose CPU window will now be displayed. Select the productivity controller you want to program and then select Continue. Our new program will be displayed along with the default New Task Program. Right-click on the New Task Program under the Run Every Scan heading in the Task Management window. Select Rename Task under the pop-up window. We will rename this task to Communication. In the Instruction List window, under Communication, double-click the Modbus Read instruction. The Modbus Read MRX window will now be displayed. We will fill in the parameters for this instruction. The structure name will be Mod Read. This will set up all of the instructions flags and response memory locations. Ensure that Ethernet is selected and enter the target IP address for our Easy Transfer line server from the Machine Simulator. We will leave the TCP port number default the same and change the slave or server node number to 1. Communication setup is one of the easiest things to do in the productivity line of PLCs. Select the automatic polling option. Leave the default to communicate every 100 milliseconds and the poll offset to 0 milliseconds. The slave or server Modbus starting address will be set for 1. Under the Modbus function code, select Read Input Bits. As this function code changes, the offset for the starting address will also change. We can now set the number of inputs to read to 5. In the tag list, please enter the names of the tag inputs we read every 100 milliseconds. We can utilize these tag names in our ladder logic program. Select OK. The Define Tags window will be displayed. We can verify all the tags we created for this Modbus Read instruction. Select OK. Our Modbus Read instruction will now be placed on our ladder diagram. Note that there is no input condition for this instruction. This is because it will execute independently every 100 milliseconds. Select Rung 2 on the Communication Ladder Logic diagram. Double-click on the Modbus Write instruction under the Communication heading in the instruction window. The Modbus Write MWX instruction window will be displayed. Once again, we will fill in the parameters for this instruction. The structure name will be Mod Write. This will set all of our instructions flags and response memory locations. Ensure that Ethernet is selected and enter the target IP address for our Easy Transfer line server from the Machine Simulator. We will leave the TCP port number default the same and change the slave or server node number to 1. Select the automatic polling option. Leave the default to communicate every 100 milliseconds. We will set the poll offset to 50 milliseconds. This ensures that the read and write commands do not interfere with each other upon power-up. The slave or server Modbus starting address will be set for 1. Under the Modbus function code, select Force Multiple Coils. As this function code changes, the offset for the starting address will also change. We can now set the number of outputs to read to 4. In the tag list, please enter the names of the tag outputs we write every 100 milliseconds. We can utilize these tag names in our ladder logic program. Select OK. The Define Tags window will be displayed. We can verify all the tags we created for this Modbus write instruction. Select OK. Our Modbus write instruction will now be placed on our ladder diagram. Note that there is no input conditions for this instruction. This is because it will execute independently every 100 milliseconds with an offset of 50 milliseconds. Save the program using the icon under the main menu File. Select the Connect to PLC Simulator icon on the main menu. A warning message indicates that the simulator program needs to be transferred. Select OK. Select the Transfer Project to PLC icon on the main screen. This will transfer our ladder logic program to the simulator. Once this is complete, select the Monitor icon on the ladder logic window. We can view the instructions and flag bits as our communication with the machine simulator occurs. Place the PLC simulator in run mode by selecting the icon on the main screen. A warning message is displayed. Select Yes. Select Data View under the main menu Tools. The Control plus Shift plus F3 key combination can also call up the Data View window. Enter the inputs and outputs we read and write to the Machine Simulator EasyPLC line using Modbus TCP. Returning to the Machine Simulator and viewing the Data View window, we can test our communication between the Productivity PLC Simulator and the Machine Simulator. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content focused on automation training and education. Let's continue building the ultimate automation training environment. Creating the Productivity Ladder Logic code. Under the Task Management window, right-click on the heading Run Every Scan and select New Task. We will write the Ladder Logic PLC code to control the Easy Transfer line. Enter the name Easy Transfer Line and select OK. Our new task is under the Run Every Scan heading in the Task Management window. Using the 5 steps to PLC programming development, we will program our Productivity PLC to control the Easy Transfer line. Step 1. Define the task. Step 2. Define the inputs and outputs. Step 3. Develop a logical sequence of operation. Step 4. Develop the PLC program. Step 5. Test the program. To review how this is done, click the link in the description below. We have developed this ladder logic code using the Click, Do More, and XGB PLCs. Once your ladder logic code has been entered, save your program. Select the Transfer Program icon to transfer your program to the simulator. Test our ladder logic in our ultimate training setup. Call up the Data View window that we entered previously. We can run our Easy Transfer line in the Machine Simulator and monitor the inputs, outputs, and program. If modifications are required, we can do this while we are online using the PLC simulator. When using a machine simulator, debugging is quickly done without damaging equipment. You may modify your logic several times before you get everything right. This is all part of the automation learning with the Ultimate Automation Training Setup environment. We call this the Ultimate Training Setup because we can now connect a human-machine interface, HMI, or supervisory control and data acquisition, SCADA, to this environment. Improve your knowledge by getting the most of the automation equipment, software, and hardware. Everyone can learn how to design and program in a conducive learning atmosphere for real-world challenges in the automation field. Click here to learn more about the Machine Simulator and how to set up the Modbus Server driver. Click here to learn more about connecting an HMI to the Machine Simulator.